Yo, welcome to Simply Bitcoin Live. We're your number one source for the peaceful Bitcoin revolution. Color breaking news, culture, dramatic warfare. We'll be your guide through the separation of money and state. Crazy series of events. Whitney Webb tweeted, and Saifedean as well. This very popular doctor who went against some of the official narratives of the last couple of years, to put it nicely, was debanked. And this is a continuing trend with what happened with a very popular politician in the UK called Nigel Farage. He was also debanked as well. And he was basically making the case as to why it was so difficult for him to open a bank account, right? And remember, this is all happening when they are pushing a central bank digital currency. In the US, I think the first iteration of a CBDC has launched. It is called Fed. It's called Fed Now. Don't believe the misdirection plays. I know that's what that is. And like, think about it. At least when you get debanked, there's like a clear divider between you and the state. And that divider is the fact that the state has to knock on the door of the bank, and then the bank kind of debanks you or deplatforms you. With the CBDC, there is no divider, right? It's like you have this direct relation with the state, and the state is the one who's getting to basically hold your money and get to decide what you can do and what you can't do with your money. So, I mean, it's a foreshadowing, and that's exactly why I say Bitcoin or slavery. And I understand that it can seem hyperbolic, and I can understand that it could seem a little over the top, a little overly dramatic, but the writing is on the wall. The writing's on the wall. They're telling you what they want to do. In China, there's a pilot project. You know, there's terrifying videos of people trying to get onto subways or trying to buy certain things, and they literally get denied because their social credit system is too low. They're trying to roll this on a worldwide scale. I think more than 100 countries have a CBDC program. And what also tells me that we're over the target is their hostility towards non-state currencies like Bitcoin, right? Whether that's the IMF's reaction to El Salvador, the IMF, the conditions for the bailout that they gave Argentina. One of the conditions was you must de-incentivize the adoption of Bitcoin. The reaction by the United Nations, basically making the case as to why developing countries are at risk of adopting alternatives to state-run currency. So, like, the established system is clearly not friendly of this thing. Tells me we're over the target. All the propaganda that comes with it, whether it's the attack on Bitcoin's energy usage, the money laundering narrative. This is going to be used by criminals, even though we know for a fact that the number one money that is used by criminals to money launder is literally the US dollar, is literally cash. Of course, none of that is being talked about. It's always the boogeyman. It's Bitcoin, 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 Bitcoin. That tells me we're over the target. But today what I want to focus on is, we always talk about the Bitcoin part, but we never talk about the slavery part. And I think the retweet by Whitney Webb, the retweet by Saifedean, and the original tweet by the doctor that got debanked and deplatformed is a foreshadowing. It is a warning to the alternative to Bitcoin, the alternative to freedom, which is slavery, right? And it's not the slavery of which you would think of, like in the Roman times, where there would be a guy with a leash, like kind of whipping you. It's a forcing function slavery. So that means is, like with these CBDCs, think about it in the sense of it forces you to behave a certain way. If you buy too much steak, if you travel too far, if you drive over the speed limit, whatever it is, like whatever these bureaucrats decide, right? And if you misbehave for a certain amount of time, they could turn off your money essentially. And if they turn off your money, that's a forcing function. We saw this with the Canadian truckers protest, right? And, of course, from and I appreciate that there's different perspectives on it, but from my understanding and looking at the videos, it was a peaceful protest. There was kids in bouncy castles. but the government framed it like, look, like this is a problem. And they used that as a justification to freeze people's bank accounts. And what did that do? It was a forcing function. The government didn't have to address the people's concerns and woes. They turned off their money, and then people, because, you know, no one's better than their incentives, shout out American Hodl. What did they do? There's like, I got to take care of my family. I got to put food on the table. And if they're turning off my money, I would rather just go home. So this is the dangers of CBDCs. It's not this like slavery of the past where you were chained up in a way. It's like an invisible chain. It's an invisible chain because it will give politicians and bureaucrats the ability to control your life, because they will punish you if you don't act a certain way. And those are the dangers of CBDCs. So when I say Bitcoin or slavery, when we say Bitcoin or slavery at Simply Bitcoin, take it seriously, because it is very, very serious. And we might joke around and laugh and, you know, have a good time, but, you know, pay attention to what's coming. Anyways, Opti, how you doing, bro? How's Optimus Fields this morning? Are you feeling optimistic?
Always, bro. Optimistic, or optimism is a way of life. There's only one way to move through the world right now, and it's staying optimistic. But I mean, on that note, Nico, you kind of brought my energy down, bro. I got a little real there for a second. A little somber this morning, but it really is something that we've seen a lot on this show, and we bring the receipts constantly. It really is becoming more and more obvious that the parasite class, the unproductive class, the powers that be are scrambling for control, and they have lost that control. In my opinion, they've lost that control, and now they're doing anything they can to try to regain that control back. You know, the internet has disintermediated information. Bitcoin has disintermediated the control of money, and they are doing everything in their power to just continue to gaslight the average individual, the average person out there, the person not in the know like you guys out there. So it's just very interesting that we're seeing this. And I've said it a lot on the show, whether on YouTube or on Twitter Spaces, that the tyrants, the authoritarians, the parasitic class are the best marketers of Bitcoin. And the more we see people get deplatformed for wrongthink, the more people will, in my opinion, look for alternatives, find alternatives, and obviously end up on the Bitcoin standard. All roads lead to Bitcoin. And this is why we continue to do our best to educate people, to inspire people, to, of course, keep you guys entertained and laughing so that you guys can keep your head on straight while we move through crazy peak clown world moments, because it's only going to get crazier before it gets better. But we have the tools today to fight back. And it is a peaceful revolution. All you really need to do is opt into Bitcoin, save in Bitcoin, and continue to spread that signal. So here we are, part of the separation of money and state. It's just, it's beautiful to be here.
Yeah, it is beautiful to be here. By the way, we're already at 51 likes. So shout out to everyone smashing the like button. If you're enjoying the live stream so far, smash that like button. Help us keep our streak. We have been, I think it's 2 weeks now, Opti, where we've broken 100 likes in the first hour. So smash that like button if you're enjoying the show. But anyways, guys, we got a lot to talk about. This is a pretty long opening monologue, Opti, today. Anyways, guys, let's jump straight into the show. Let's do this.
The Bitcoin numbers.
Is your Bitcoin in cold storage really secure? Is your seed phrase really secure? Stamp Seed's do-it-yourself kit has everything you need to hammer your seed words into commercial-grade titanium plates instead of just writing them on paper. Don't store your generational wealth on paper. Paper is prone to water damage, fire damage. You want to put your generational wealth on one of the strongest metals on planet Earth, titanium. Your words are actually stamped into this metal plate with this hammer and these letter stamps. And once your words are in, they aren't going anywhere. No risk of the plate breaking apart and pieces falling everywhere. Titanium stamped seeds will survive nearly triple the heat produced by a house fire. They're also crush-proof, waterproof, non-corrosive, and time-proof. All things that paper is not, allowing you to hodl your Bitcoin with peace of mind for the long haul. Stamp your seed on Stamp Seed. All right, everybody. if you guys don't want to explain to your grandchildren why you lost your generational wealth because you decided to store it on paper, store your generational wealth. Put it on titanium. You could scan the QR code right now on your screen. It'll take you directly to the Stamp Seed website where you could buy yourself a titanium seed phrase storage kit. And you can get a 15% discount if you use the promo code SIMPLY. At the time of recording, the Bitcoin price is 29,285 sats per dollar, 3,415. Block height, 800,375. Blocks to halving, 39,625. Halving estimate April 20th, 2024. Total Lightning Network capacity, 4,659 Bitcoin. Capacity value, 136 million US dollars. Realized monetary inflation, 1.76%. The market capitalization of Bitcoin, $569 billion of the B. Bitcoin versus gold market cap, 4.35%. Anyways, interesting video. And shout out to Chris Alamo from Bitcoin Magazine, our buddy Chris. And he played this video for us yesterday on Bitcoin Magazine Live. And I was like, wow, I can't believe we haven't played this on Simply. So I wanted to play it so Opti and I could talk about it. But anyways, I'm just going to give a shout out to Neil Jacobs because he did tweet the video. And the original video apparently comes from The Bulwark. Anyways, Neil Jacobs says Jack, and he's referring to Jack Dorsey, is considerably more knowledgeable about Bitcoin than you are, Ben McKenzie. We all know you're too much of a coward to sit down with someone like Jack to discuss all the good Bitcoin could do for the world. Enjoy your book tour. So let's play the video and then we'll talk about it. Let's check it out.
Multiple people said this to me, and that is it possible that your hostility to crypto could just be a lack of understanding of the tech? Like, what do you say to the fact that real smarties like Mark Andreessen and other extremely wealthy, intelligent people think that this is the future?
Yeah, like Jack Dorsey of Twitter, who is obviously brilliant. I mean, he's rich, so he must be smart. And he was talking about hyperinflation, which was coming to the United States in the fall of 2021. And he warned people they needed to buy Bitcoin because there was going to be hyperinflation in the United States. We need to stop with his notion that billionaires are somehow smarter than us. Like, they may be smart about whatever it is that made them money, which they may have made in an ethical manner or not, but that certainly doesn't make them smart about things that they haven't made money on or whatever. These are just stories. Like, I know we want to say, if you say I haven't done enough research, my response to you is fuck you. I've spent 2 years investigating this. I've interviewed the head of your entire industry who's now alleged to have been running a fraudulent scheme. Like, what more proof do you need that I am right, dude? Like, I don't know what to tell.
In one of those cases.
Yeah, I mean, they have internal Binance, the biggest exchange that's been sued by the CFTC and the SEC and has yet to be charged by the DOJ. Let's see. They have internal communications in Binance employees. And one of the Binance employees says to the other, dude, we're running an unlicensed security exchange in the United States, bro. That's a alleged quote from, I mean, man, give me a break. I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't know what you're talking about. By the way, I'm getting triggered. The people that say that are usually, they go like, I'm not taking financial advice from a reality star. I mean, you idiot. You don't even know my career.
All right. Okay. Okay, so first thing I want to point out is the commingling, right? So like commingling crypto with Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden you are an expert in Bitcoin because you studied the biggest shitcoin casino developers in industry, then basically calling out Jack. Jack, from my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong here, Opti, but isn't Jack the CEO of Square, who is a financial services company who also owns Cash App? And doesn't Cash App sell Bitcoin? So I mean, like, you would maybe think that if he's the CEO of a successful financial services company, you would think that maybe Jack kind of knows what he's talking about, maybe, perhaps. So I think it's like a lot of insincere arguments, misrepresentations. Look, he's either a moron, like if you really studied something for 2 years and like those are the conclusions that you got to, that's a mean word. Maybe I take that back. Maybe he is uninformed, or maybe he's not as smart as he think he is. I just, how do you study the industry for 2 years and then come to the conclusion that, you know, all of this is a scam? Like, talk to an Argentine, talk to a Nigerian, talk to, you know, an Iranian, talk to someone in Turkey, talk to a country that has a dictatorial, tyrannical government, talk to them about Bitcoin, right? Talk to someone in Afghanistan, talk to them about Bitcoin. You know, like Alex Gladstein wrote the book, right? You know, financial privilege. I really think that this guy has a tremendous amount of financial privilege. And I ask you, bro, like if you're so sure on where you stand, short Bitcoin, just short it, bro. Like if you're so full of it, like if you're so secure, like short it, don't buy it. And let's have a conversation in a couple of years and let's see what happens. That's what I got to say. Anyways, Opti.
Yeah, well, I think I thoroughly destroyed him yesterday and even last week, or was it last week when he officially came out talking about this? But he's just big mad. Like Ben's just triggered. He's just absolutely in Bitcoin derangement syndrome. And as I brought the receipts a while ago when I did do the takedown of him on the show, I forget what it was. It was sometime last week. It's become clear, and this was in The Guardian. I was going to bring it up, but I didn't get enough time to bring it up right now. But you guys can go check this out for yourself. When he is shilling his recent book, I forget what it's called, something about crypto scams and capitalist fraud, something. It is very clearly stated in this article that he got wrecked trying to short the market. He thought, he thought that, Bitcoin's a scam or crypto is a scam. Lost $250,000 trading it, didn't time it right, and got absolutely wrecked. So in my opinion, this is just some more Bitcoin derangement syndrome. He obviously has an agenda. And as Chris brought up yesterday, and we saw on Twitter later, Chris brought up the idea that, or actually rather, brought up the tweets from Alex Gladstein. And apparently he had a conversation with Ben and it was fully recorded, and they haven't released that because it doesn't fall into his agenda. It doesn't fall into his bias that crypto's a scam. And someone in the chat just posted or tweeted or commented, sorry, I don't know what you call it here, that Samson Mao also had a conversation with Ben McKenzie and he wouldn't even listen to him. So obviously this guy is saying what he wants to say and not necessarily what we believe, what we know, what we understand about Bitcoin. And again, it's because his agenda, and it just makes me wonder, like, who's paying him? Is the Change the Code people still behind this other new narrative? You know, they got more actors. What was the last one? Cal from Harold and Kumar, Bloomberg. So it just keeps showing me and proving to me that the corporate press, the powers that be, the machine that is hell bent against human prosperity is hiring actors and B-grade actors to try to shit on Bitcoin and crypto. And there's a few more points. First point that really got me triggered is the collectivist bent that he is diving down, like making it seem like making money makes you a bad person. This guy's a millionaire and he's talking crap about a billionaire making money, like making it seem like making money means you're an evil person. It's absolutely disgusting. Capitalism is why we have all the nice things of this world, and just provide more value, bro, and maybe you'll get richer. I mean, I don't know about you, but what value does an actor provide? I mean, look at us. We're basically acting. We're talking heads. Like, where's my millions? Come on, man. Like, what's going on here? I'd like to get paid. And the last one is, dang, I'm blanking on what I wanted to say. There was one more thing that I wanted to add on to this. But
it's safe to say he's wrong.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's what you were saying about him studying crypto, quote unquote crypto, for the last 2 years. If you read the like preface of what his article or book is about, he was literally talking to known scammers Sam Bankman-Fried, Alex Mashinsky, Justin Sun, CZ. These are all known scammers in the business, in the industry, sorry. And he's conflating Bitcoin and crypto and exchanges. And you can just tell that he is doing what we try to do our best to separate. There's Bitcoin and there's shitcoins, and they are not the same. And yes, crypto, quote unquote, is full of scammers and frauds and snake oil salesmen. And I agree with that point. Hence why we are Bitcoin only. You know, there's not much money in telling people to just buy Bitcoin, hodl that Bitcoin, take Bitcoin into self-custody. And the real money is basically by convincing people to buy your shitcoin. Everyone's a scammer, and shitcoin scammers are the biggest Bitcoin maxis out there. So I do agree with him to a certain extent. Crypto is a scam, but there's Bitcoin and there's shitcoin. And dude, 2 years of research talking to the biggest scammers in the industry. What he said, the head of our industry, Sam Bankman-Fried. Man, dude, did you know he talked to the CEO of Bitcoin? Oh my goodness, this guy has got some good intel in here, Nico.
Until he talks to Yellow, also known as the CEO of Bitcoin, he hasn't talked to the head of the industry. Okay, he hasn't talked to the head of the industry, and that's a fact. That's a fact.
Hold on, anyway, Yellow's calling. Malaka. That's what he said about Ben.
Anyways.
Wait, one more troll. The Council of Ben, come get your mans. Come on.
Anyways, guys, I want to tell you about the biggest Bitcoin conference on the face of the earth, Bitcoin 2024. It's not going to be in Miami this year. It's going to be in Nashville, Tennessee, July 25th through the 27th, 2024. The tickets are on sale now. You can get a GA ticket for $349, a Bitcoin industry pass for $849, and a whale pass for $4,749. And you can take advantage of the promo code SIMPLY to get yourself an even bigger discount. Get your tickets quickly. The prices do go up over time. Anyways, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the news. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's check it out.
The Daily News.
The Daily News is brought to you by Blockstream Jade, built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. It's an open source hardware wallet for the cold storage of Bitcoin. Check out the brand new limited edition color, the transparent green Jade. Blockstream Jade houses a full color camera, allowing for fully air-gapped Bitcoin transactions, scan and display QR codes directly on the device, assign transactions, and verify addresses with ease. Use your Blockstream Jade with your favorite wallet software, such as Blockstream Green, Blue Wallet, Electrum, Sparrow. Get yourself a Blockstream Jade today and take self-custody of your Bitcoin.
All right, I can't even believe we're covering this, but I guess it's an update. I'm so tired of this because it's so clear what happened. Anyways, so Craig Wright, who calls himself Satoshi Nakamoto, sued a bunch of members in the Bitcoin community like Peter McCormack and HODLNOT, and he basically sued them to try to get them to shut up. So he'd take advantage of the UK libel laws to try to basically say, hey, listen, if you speak against me, if you say that I'm not Satoshi, I'm going to sue you into silence. It got so bad that during the Obama administration in the US, they had to pass a law to protect American citizens from the UK libel laws. Because a lot of people were taking advantage of them to go after their political opponents, and they would silence people like that. Luckily in the U.S., we do have the First Amendment, so it's a little bit different here. But for our fellow Bitcoiners in Europe, it's a little bit different. So we all know what happened with the HODLNOT case. We all know what happened with the McCormack case. The McCormack case, which is what I want to do, what I want to follow up with today with an update. Basically, the judges said that look, they awarded Craig Wright with with £1, and that to me was basically a symbol to like, look, clearly, I'll read it. It's not my words. I'll read what they said. So this is what McCormack says: the judges agreed with the decision of Justice Chamberlain to reduce his damages to £1 for putting forward, quote, deliberately false evidence on serious harm. Dr. Wright may now appeal to the Supreme Court, but after reading the judgment, I suspect this won't be granted. Next, we have to deal with the complicated world of costs, key passages relating to the deliberately false evidence that Dr. Wright relied upon for serious harm. I just want to read this. At the trial, Dr. Wright was cross-examined about these matters. Having heard his evidence and considered the relevant circumstances, the judge concluded that, quote, the explanation given by Dr. Wright for abandoning this part of his case does not withstand scrutiny, that although a, quote, a conclusion that a witness has given deliberately false evidence should not be drawn lightly, there is no other plausible explanation, and that, quote, Dr. Wright's original case on serious harm and the evidence supporting it, both of which were maintained until days before the trial, were deliberately false. That's not coming from Nico and Opti. That is literally coming from a judge in the UK. And by the way, it's not only a judge in the UK that has said this about Dr. Wright. We have a judge in Florida that said something similar, and we have a judge in Norway. So in 3 separate countries, 3 separate jurisdictions, judges, and not Bitcoiners, have called Dr. Wright, to put it nicely, Dr. Wright put up deliberately false evidence. I'll say it like that. Anyways, in today's news, I want to cover this. So this is Whitney Webb. She says a major bank banning, and let me show you guys who she's referring to. This is Dr. Joseph Mercola. This is his original tweet. He says, Chase Bank has shut down our business bank accounts along with the accounts of my CEO and CFO, as well as their family members, including spouse and child. They refuse to provide any reason for doing so. The oldest account has been active for 18 years. Moving back to this. A major bank banning this doctor account is a sign of what's to come for any dissent. JP Morgan Chase is organized crime masquerading as a bank. They backed a child's operation. This is why you should watch the YouTube show. You want to stop the, quote, deep state, take your dollars out of Wall Street now and find a small local bank, or crazy idea. What if we put the deep state stuff aside and all the conspiratorial rhetoric and wording and all that stuff, put that aside, right? How about you just take it out of the system altogether so they can't just do this to you anyways, whatever your political beliefs are. And the way that you do it is you just, you buy Bitcoin, you earn Bitcoin, you mine Bitcoin, and you take that Bitcoin into self-custody, and bada boom, bada bang, problem solved, right? And I think, and I've said this before, because I think that like the political solution to this is voting certain people in office. A lot of people question the integrity of the election system, whether you believe in the election system. But I think the problem remains the same. I think that as long as the incentives are not aligned, between politicians and bureaucrats and citizens, I think what you're going to have is this type of behavior where, JP Morgan Chase, right? They call it the revolving war of Washington, D.C., right? A lot of these people that work in these very, very big banks end up becoming the Treasury Secretary, right? So literally like a revolving door, right? They work at Goldman and then they work at the government and then they quit the government and they go work at back at Goldman. And then they get these, they get paid a fortune for having these speeches. Like, but at the end of the day, it boils down to misaligned incentives. So if you put all the accusations aside, whether it's, the deep state rhetoric and like whatever, like let's talk a little bit about that, right? Let's talk about that. So what is the deep state? I like to call it the administrative state. The administrative state is basically the bureaucratic class that is funded by the money printer. Without the money printer, they wouldn't be able to pay for themselves. And their reaction is to protect their political moat. So I don't really blame them. I don't think anyone's better than their incentives. I think whether, it's the so-called deep state, the administrative state, or all this kind of bad behavior that you're seeing in society, the riots, or whether, it's the what I call the Contillionaire Conference, the World Economic Forum, and how they seem like they're like these evil individuals, kind of scheming and no, they're or like Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger saying like Bitcoin is no better than rat poison squared. Like, I think what you're seeing is individuals that have benefited from the fiat system protecting the fiat system because it's been good to them. The thing is that the vast majority of people, if you're in the lower and middle classes, that system is architected against you. It's actively hurting you. It's stealing your energy. It's stealing your purchasing power. So I think what I would say as a Bitcoiner is like, don't get stuck in the political rhetoric that is outside of the Overton window. Because if you get stuck in that type of conversation, what you're going to do is you're going to isolate a lot of people, because they're just, we've talked about the Overton. These are radical ideas to a lot of people. To like the average everyday normie, they hear this and they get put off. They're like, no, this person sounds like a conspiracy theory, a conspiracy theorist. So what I would recommend, right, is just pushing Bitcoin, right? It's just simple. It's like, look, number goes up, your purchasing power doesn't decrease over time. If your money is in dollars, it does decrease in purchasing power over time. So it's like a solution-based strategy versus the fighting up the hill type of strategy, which I think a lot of people get stuck in doing so. Anyways, that's my take. Maybe I'm completely wrong. That's my personal opinion. Anyhow. So she goes on to say, they're moving fast to tie your money to your social media accounts plus online activity. Say something wrong online, your bank account is closed. This isn't in the distant future. It is almost here. The new Twitter, X, is part of it. Find alternatives now. I've been writing about this for years. Check out on my work on the World Economic Forum partnership against cybercrime. This is their playbook, and the FBI and the DOJ and the big banks are the key players. And I mean, like, look, to be frank, obviously my personal beliefs, I understand I want to be respectful of your personal beliefs and what you think, but my personal beliefs is, I mean, look at the Twitter files. Like, it came out even in the United States, where speech is supposedly protected by the First Amendment. The government could not help themselves but to get involved and to censor certain types of speech, right? Which is literally like, that's supposedly against the law. Like they couldn't help themselves. So we're heading into this future where this is what they're doing with banks, right? Could you imagine if they don't have to even go through a bank anymore, if they can go directly to the source and say, they don't even have to ask the bank to like debank this person, close his accounts, he's a risk, whatever. No. They themselves have the power to flick the switch. That is a terrifying world. And that is the world we're heading into, like full speed ahead. This is what they're doing with banks. Imagine when they fully roll out the CBDC system. That's a scary world, to be honest. So like, if you put all like the theories aside and, like all the stuff that is outside of the Overton window, all the theories, right? And you just boil it down to the most like simplistic conversation, right? Why do you have to trust someone else with your money now that you don't have to? And this is where I love Beautyon's approach, right? Because Beautyon is like, look, you can complain, you can go on Twitter and you could like pound your chest and say, look, guys, like this is incorrect, this is wrong. But we have a solution. We have an alternative. That alternative is Bitcoin. Like, we have it. It works. You could use it now. You can choose to opt out now. Because if you're not opting out and then this stuff is happening to you and you're just like, oh my God, like what's going on here? Then like you are choosing to be the victim. Like, to be fair. And whatever the reasoning is, whether the conspiracy theories are true, whether they're not true, like those are your personal beliefs and I respect that. But this is a Bitcoin show. And our mission is really just to show you that there is a viable alternative to this system. And as long as other people are holding your money, as long as there is a bureaucratic elite class that have the ability to print money for free that everyone else has to work for, the whole system has misaligned incentives. And you can't blame the people at the top that have that privilege to fight to maintain that privilege, because that is essentially what it boils down to. What I'm advocating for is just opt out. Just say, look, I don't want to participate in your system anymore. And if enough people do that, if enough people opt out entirely and they say, look, I'm not using that money. You censor me, you debase me, you abuse me, because it's an abusive relationship, really. I'm going to opt out into a system that you can't debase me, you can't confiscate it easily, and you can't censor me. So therefore, it empowers you. What system do you want to use? And this is precisely why we say Bitcoin or slavery. Like literally, like it is that freaking simple. It is so simple. A lot of people make it complicated. Just my 2 cents there. Anyways, last tweet by Saifedean. And Saifedean makes the connection. One of the many exciting possibilities offered by CBDCs is that if you refuse to take the highly profitable addiction your fiat doctor prescribes, pharma companies can quickly and effectively destroy your finances. Right. And if you look at this guy's, thing, right, he is the best-selling author and the founder of the #1 natural health site. So obviously he believes in alternative medicine. And we know that, the pharmaceutical industry in the US is extremely powerful and extremely wealthy, and they have a lot of connections. So, and again, whether you believe Dr. Joseph Mercola or whether you don't believe him, that's up to you. I'm not going to go down that political rabbit hole of getting lost in the sauce. What I'm going to say is stop using a money that another human being can censor and another human being can debase. And if you just boil it down to that very simple type of viewpoint and vantage point, I think it will fix a lot of the world's problems. Whatever your personal ideologies are, whatever your personal beliefs are, it just boils down to that. Other people are trusting other people with their money. And because they're trusting other people with their money, they're empowering those people. And they're basically saying, don't use that power against me, please. History has shown that they will continue to abuse that power time and time and time again. And why? Because no one is better than their incentives. If you had the power of the money printer, and Opti dated Chrissy to try to get this, but it failed. If you had the power of the money printer, are you telling me that you would be able to resist that power? That's a lot of power. It's a lot of power, right? Absolute power corrupts absolutely. So you're either a person with extremely high integrity, which I would high morals, right? Or I would say, it's just human nature, man. And this is why something like Bitcoin is beautiful, and I think it works so well, is because I think you have a system with aligned incentives. The miners aren't mining Bitcoin out of the goodness of their heart. We're not running nodes, out of the goodness of our hearts. We're either mining Bitcoin for the pursuit of profit, or we're running our nodes because we're holding a considerable amount of Bitcoin and we don't want to trust someone else's copy of the blockchain. We don't want to dox our own balance, right? Our own balance or our own transactions. So we're like, no, fuck that. I don't trust anybody else. Let me just trust myself. So it's like I'm acting out of my own incentives, but me acting out of my own incentives makes the network stronger because there's another node that gets added to the network. Me mining Bitcoin makes it stronger. The hash rate goes higher. Theoretically, the harder Bitcoin becomes to computationally attack. Theoretically, the higher the value proposition. And then there's the hodler, the Bitcoin evangelist. Why are they evangelizing Bitcoin? Because they hold Bitcoin and they believe in Bitcoin, right? So you have this aligned incentive structure. And this is why I believe, by the way, and I said this the other day, and I brought this up to Jimmy Song, and he basically, I don't remember if he agreed 100%, but he said, yes, that makes sense. I definitely recommend that IRL episode because we had this conversation. But you have El Salvador, which coincidentally is the first country that made Bitcoin legal tender, which coincidentally is a country where the leader has a 90% approval rating, coincidentally where the crime rate has fallen, coincidentally where the economy is growing, coincidentally, where even people in the lower classes that live in the slums feel safe to play out in the streets. And once again, coincidentally, the media machine that has lied to us for over the last 2 years is hell-bent on throwing endless dog shit propaganda at El Salvador, right? All those are a lot of coincidences. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot. Maybe it is all a coincidence. Maybe I talk about this every day. Maybe I'm seeing shit that's not there, but boy, oh boy, like that's a lot of things that they're coming together. So look, avoiding all the political talk, avoiding all the things that would be considered conspiracy theories, with the current mainstream consciousness, where the mainstream consciousness is, a lot of the things that were being brought up would be considered radical. You put that aside. This is not the right show for that. But we are going to tell you is, whether you believe those things or not, there's a solution to this, and the solution is Bitcoin. And it is your choice whether you want to roll the dice and whether you want to believe these people and trust them with their CBDCs, even though we dedicate this show to literally laying out the fucking evidence for you, literally putting the sign up as to why you should not trust these things. It is your choice. It's your choice, my friend. Which side you want to take? Do you want the side of Bitcoin, or do you want the side of continuing to trust the state with their money? Because, like, come on now. Come on. Like, it is incredible. Even if you don't believe the things that Whitney was saying, like, even if that is, like, outside of what it's radical to you, it's conspiratorial to you. Like, fine. Like, even if you believe that personally, like, it is so freaking obvious, bro. The writing is on the fucking wall. Which choice you got to make. And all it takes is a little bit, just a little bit of personal responsibility, a little bit of unlearning, because I get it. A lot of people are stuck in the fiat matrix. I fucking totally get it. Spent the majority of your lives in the fiat matrix. Get it. But all it takes is for you to learn how to use an ethical Bitcoin wallet, like Blue Wallet, Electrum, Sparrow. There's so many of them. Learn how to use a hardware wallet. Obviously, we recommend the Jade. They're a sponsor, but there's Cold Card as well. There's Bitbox. There's Trezor. Some people like Ledger. There's Foundation. There's Passport, right? Whatever your poison is. Like, at this point, like, there is absolutely Bitcoiners and entrepreneurs have made it so fucking incredibly easy to buy Bitcoin, dollar cost average it, stack it. They literally have built for you pre-made nodes. You don't even have to go through the trouble of fucking figuring it out yourself. There is literally no fucking reason at this point for you to get caught with your fucking pants down because they froze your account because you decided to buy a gas stove. Like, there is literally no fucking excuse at this point. And if your family has spent a lot of the time in the fiat matrix, you have to be the one that takes agency. You have to be the one that takes action. Get involved and be the Uncle Jim in your family. Be the savior in your family. Be the Bitcoin customer support representative of your family, if that's what it takes. Because at the end of the day, we win this thing if enough people take self-custody, and there's absolutely no fucking thing they could do about it. Oof. I didn't think I was going to get so riled up on this one, bro. But, like, I think I'm just frustrated, man. I'm frustrated, and what Beauty On said just, like, resonated with me. Like, it just kept, like, ringing in my ear, like, and because he said that. I remember with Nigel Farage, and he said something, like, very, very important. He's like, Nigel, like, you got your accounts frozen. Clearly, you're doing stuff that is against, the current political establishment, that's outside of the normie Overton window. And you're complaining, but you have a solution, but you're not using that solution. So it's like, then what are you doing exactly, right? I don't think the political solution to this is a good one. Like, you're gonna, like, imagine it's like, yeah, you're gonna vote, but depending on how you vote, that could potentially mean whether they freeze your account or they don't freeze your account. Like, it is so messed up, in my opinion. Anyways, my 2 sats. I know it was a long one, but yeah. Opti.
Hold on. Let it out. Let it all out. Yeah, man. I mean, look, I don't know who this Mercola guy is, but the dangerous trend of deplatforming people for wrongthink is obviously scary and terrifying. And they're almost getting maniacal with this power. It really is starting to get out of control. But that's only really if you are using their money. Like, this is what happened when you use fiat currency. This is what happens when you stay in the fiat currency system that we are in the traditional financial system. As long as your money is in their system, this is a possibility. But as a Bitcoiner, you don't have to worry about this. Like, you don't have to worry about getting deplatformed if you're on the Bitcoin standard. Censorship resistant money is a feature of Bitcoin. So take Bitcoin into self-custody, add a passphrase to your seed phrase that only you know, or multi-sig your cold storage or your stack, because excuse me, sorry, choking on my saliva. This is how you protect yourself from this stuff, guys. You need to run a node so the network cannot be co-opted. You need to take your Bitcoin into self-custody, verify your transactions for yourself, stop trusting the middlemen. This is what Bitcoin solved. Like, literally, Bitcoin fixes this. And it is also, on the flip side, very inspiring, though, to see some people get deplatform and then starting to take the steps to like run a BTC Pay server to hold their savings into Bitcoin. This is actually happening in real time, and I've seen people do this. So people will learn that the only way to protect yourself from this is to have some money outside of the system, to have some Bitcoin, to not have your total life savings in a bank, because why would you do that? Why? It's not your money once you leave it in a bank. But shouts out to Whitney Webb, because she's been ahead of the game on a lot of stuff. And she's saying what I said, I think it was at the beginning of the week. I think it was the Monday show, that public and private payment control mechanisms are coming. Whether this is, Musk's WeChat of the West, whether it's that scam WorldCoin shitcoin, whether it's FedNow, whether it's trying to export China's WeChat, we know where the end game is. They want a financial system that has surgical control over your money. Now, do you stay in that system? Do you continue to be a fiat slave, or do you take some money out of the system? Do you go all in on the Bitcoin standard and route around this madness? Like, you do not have to take this abuse. And if you don't understand that this is abuse of power, you need to continue to study a little more. You need to wake up from the fairy tale reality that you're living in. This is not for your benefit. None of this stuff is for the benefit of you guys out there, the average person. This is to maintain control. It is all about control. It has always been about control. And as a Bitcoiner, we have the freedom tools to stop this. So it's about doing the best practices. Again, it's taking Bitcoin into self-custody. Nico named some of the wallets that I like, and maybe I should name all the Bitcoin wallets that I like. Green, Blue, Breeze, Phoenix. Shouts out to my boys over at Mutiny. They're just releasing some cool stuff. Electrum, Spectre, Sparrow, Bitcoin Core, Jade, Cold Card, Passport, Bitbox, Seed Signer. There's a lot of tools out there, and they're getting better and better. And it's upon you guys to use them, try them out, and spread what you think are the best tools. There's obviously trade-offs to all this stuff, and some are better than others in different areas, but the tools are there. It's about spreading that, making sure people are holding Bitcoin. The only thing that matters is more and more and more people holding Bitcoin, a substantial amount of their wealth in Bitcoin. And this is how we win, when we opt out of the madness and people realize that the whole financial world is completely fake and it's made of paper IOUs, and it will be a house of cards that falls on top of itself, because it's literally built on the backs of all your guys' hard work and labor. And I don't know about you, but I've opted out because I value myself. I love myself enough to be like, no, fuck you guys. I don't trust you. I don't trust the banks. And I am taking my money, my work, my energy and labor out of this system. And so be it. If this is a choice, Bitcoin or slavery, well, we all know what choice we're making. It's Bitcoin. This is the way. This is the future. This is how we better humanity moving forward.
Amen to that. Amen to that. All right, guys. So not only do you have to take your Bitcoin into self-custody, you also have to, it's time to reclaim ownership of your money. That's why you should run your own Bitcoin node, because if not, you're using someone else's. This is the Nodl one. It's a full Bitcoin node and Lightning node. It enables you to connect to both the Bitcoin and Lightning networks. Your Nodl acts as a backend to the most popular Bitcoin and Lightning applications you want to run. Running a personal Bitcoin node is the greatest addition you can make to your financial privacy. And this is the Nodl Dojo. Yes, it's in red, and yes, that means it's faster. Run your own wallet backend with Samurai Dojo. Enjoy state-of-the-art coin joining with Samurai Wallet, both straight out of your Nodl hardware. And also coming soon, the Nodl 2, so definitely stay tuned for that. Anyways, guys, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the culture. We got a lot to talk about today. Let's check it out.
The Daily Culture.
Brought to you by SwanBitcoin.com. Swan is the best way to build your Bitcoin stack with automated Bitcoin savings plans and instant purchases, serving clients of any size from $10 to $10 million. We love Swan because they incentivize self-custody and dollar cost averaging. What are you waiting for? Visit SwanBitcoin.com today. All right, everybody. I also want to give a shout out to the Pacific Bitcoin Festival. It's going to be the biggest Bitcoin celebration on the West Coast. It's October 5th through the 6th. Get your tickets quickly before the prices go up. Current speakers include Jimmy Song, Lynn Alden, Greg Foss, Alex Gladstein, Preston Pish, Corey Clipston, and many, many more to be announced. You definitely don't want to miss this Bitcoin celebration. Personally, it's one of my favorite. They rent out an airplane hangar. It's freaking dope. It's awesome. The vibes are really good. I love vibes. The vibes of the Pacific Bitcoin Festival are some of the best. You could take advantage of the promo code Simply to get a 21% discount on your tickets to the Pacific Bitcoin Festival. I also want to give a shout out to the Orange Pill app. The Orange Pill app. There will be a time in the not too distant future where the most sought after demographics will be Bitcoiners. You want to build up your Bitcoin network, and the Orange Pill app is the way to do that. It might be worth your time to make as many Bitcoin connections as you can now while the getting is good. What's the best way to meet other Bitcoiners in real life? The Orange Pill app. The Orange Pill app is building the social layer for Bitcoin. The Bitcoin circular economy is coming, and this is where it starts. With in real life connections, find other Bitcoiners who live close to you, find plebs while you're traveling, or find nearby Bitcoin events. Plus, Orange Pill app recently enabled Zaps. You can zap your friends or zap events to help with the costs to organize your next Bitcoin meetup. Scan the QR code on your screen right now, and when you sign up, you'll get 10K in sats when you sign up, and stack friends who stack sats. And also, Opti and I appreciate all the messages and all the love that we're getting on the Orange Pill app. So scan the QR code on your screen, you get 10K in sats. Do it right now. Anyways, Opti, what are we talking about today, brother?
All right. Well, guys, before I go in, you know me, I don't like to dunk on kids anymore. I'm trying to elevate the signal here. But the point of this is not to dunk on a young kid that doesn't understand what's going on. It's about explaining what us Bitcoiners think and what Bitcoin has done for us. So obviously, guys, if you're on Twitter, then you guys saw that Peter Schiff's son, Spencer Schiff, came out and said like he's no longer a Bitcoiner because like he's found a new fad and AI is the future and he's going from one thing to the other. And it just goes to show that he was a fiat maxi. That's kind of my initial take on this. But it's not, this bit is not about just dunking on Spencer Schiff, because he is what, like, I don't know, 20 something years old. He's a Zoomer. He still has a lot to figure out about the world. But I think there is some things that you can learn about just why he is no longer in Bitcoin. And shouts out to my boy, Nick Campmine. You guys already know, head of news over at Bitcoin Magazine. Good friend of mine, known him for a long time. And he is also a Zoomer. And as much as we try to get, you know, my peers, people my age, I'm a millennial and older to stack, we understand that what is really going to take Bitcoin over the finish line is explaining it to the young guys out there, to the young bucks out there, the Zoomers out there that have less than us millennials do. And there's so many more millennials and Zoomers than boomers and Gen Xers. And it's important, again, this is back to the idea of the most important thing we can be doing is having as many people hold Bitcoin, a substantial amount of their net worth in Bitcoin. And how do we do this? We say it all the time. It's about winning the hearts and minds of the masses. And Bitcoin has changed my life. You don't change Bitcoin. Bitcoin changes you. But that's only if you know why you Bitcoin. It is easy to hodl once you know why you hodl. But anyways, let's get to this tweet by my boy Nick. And Nick literally changed his life on Bitcoin and is a great example of what it means to be a Bitcoiner. I agree. And he's got one of my favorite tweets. And it is, I don't stack sats for my first name. I stack sats for my last name. This is the signal. This is the message. It's about trying to build an empire, build on something that lasts. Anyways, again, to this tweet by Nick. He goes, "This is the standard perspective of Bitcoin from a privileged American that's my age, a Zoomer. I dropped out of college to accumulate BTC, and it was the best decision of my life. Saved me a ton of stress. I'm enjoying life and have a net worth way higher than a phone and some clothes." So what is he talking about? Here, we got this tweet here. It's Spencer Schiff, again, you guys know, son of infamous Bitcoin skeptic Peter Schiff. And the tweet goes, if I was better at saving money, maybe I'd do that. My whole net worth is basically like my iPhone, my clothes, etc. LOL. At one point, I had savings in Bitcoin, but had to sell that to cover some expenses. But honestly, I don't really care about making an effort to save money at this point in my life. A year ago, I was so obsessed with Bitcoin that it caused me a lot of stress and hurt my personal life because I was constantly worried about not having enough Bitcoin. I almost dropped out of college just to work as much as possible to buy as much BTC as possible. And I'm super glad I didn't go down that road. So now I'm just enjoying how I've had a huge burden lifted off my shoulders since I'm not interested in Bitcoin anymore. And continuing down this rabbit hole, we have Jimmy Song's tweet here, and he goes, "A story in two parts. Spencer is terrible at saving. Now he believes that AI productivity gains will somehow save him. His beliefs changed because the virtue of saving was too hard. He found it much easier to believe that AI will save you without you having to do anything. Belief grounded in truth requires character." Jimmy Song pulling no punches. Anyways, here's a tweet here. And you can tell that maybe his dad's getting into him with the Keynesian economics talks here. And he goes, "There's no debt problem anymore. There's no reason to be concerned about debt levels or anything about the economy for that matter. The only actual problem humanity still has is ASI alignment. We can literally print tens of trillions of dollars to pay off the debt, and prices will still collapse, and we will still have a completely unprecedented economic boom where literally everyone gets rich because annual income output is about to increase by orders of magnitude. I won't be surprised if U.S. economic output is 1,000th time higher in 2033 than 2023. Amazing that he's running from one fad to another, from Bitcoin to AI. And we've been talking about this on the show, and I think all of our friends have been talking about it as well on Twitter, how a lot of the crypto scammers have jumped onto a new scam, which is the AI scam. And it's only a matter of time until the quantum AI shitcoin comes out. I think it actually already did come out. But there's a lot of stuff to talk about here. First and foremost, we know it's 11th grade math. They're going to continue to print money, but printing more money does not make us all more richer. This does not improve our lives. Yes, technology does improve our lives. Yes, we are living in the most comfortable times to be a human, but we are poorer now than we were in the Great Depression, and that is absolutely devastating. Expanding the money supply does not make anyone richer. It just makes things more expensive. But hey, you know, we can't really look for a young kid to explain economics to us. But Jimmy Song, I think, hit the nail on the head when he said the virtue of saving is too hard. Look, it is not glamorous saving. It is hard work. It is paying yourself. It's loving future you more, as Hodl always says. And it really is a slow process. Like, the process is easy, but it takes persistence. It takes effort. It takes discipline to put in the value, go to work every single day, and then saving some for the future. It's delaying gratification. It's lowering your time preference. And while most people don't want to do this, you know, everyone wants to flashy, like, win the lottery. gamble on a shit coin and I get rich. I become overnight millionaire, but there's no such thing as an overnight millionaire. It takes a lot of work. What's the saying? It's something like it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. Putting in the work is the way to go forward, and you need to save some now for the future, and save in the hardest asset ever, which is of course Bitcoin. And this really reminds me of what my boy Vikinga always says. He has added to the lexicon of Matt Odell: stay humble, stack sats, stay solvent. And he's just dunking here on just the general people out there in the market. And he goes, there are so many losers who left here because they didn't stay solvent. Guys, it's very important that you stay smart. You need to stack Bitcoin, but also make sure you're not over leveraged. Make sure you are keeping yourself mentally healthy. What do you guys tell you guys all the time? Stay fit physically, stay fit mentally, understand why you are doing what you're doing. And if you're here just for the fiat gains, then you may also sell the bottom of the next bull run, because yes, we came for the money and we stayed for the money. But once you understand that my purchasing power increasing over time will benefit everyone else by us being the pioneers of the Bitcoin network, you start to understand why you do what you do. Look, everyone wants to get wealthy. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get wealthy. Having wealth means you can live a good life. But understand what is going on here. The world, the financial world, is rigged against you. And we have turned the table around and we flipped the fucking game over because we realize that Bitcoin is, what do we say, Nico, the most equitable, fair monetary system in the world. You opt into it. You can't debase it. This is why you do what you do. I agree to a certain extent. Get outside, touch some grass. You don't need to sacrifice everything to get as much Bitcoin as possible, but you need to play this game smart. You want to pay your bills. You want to make sure you're paying your rent, make sure you're eating well, maybe even dress well, whatever you like in life. You want a little bit of good things in your life, but your excess should be saved in Bitcoin. And I'm always reminded of The Richest Man in Babylon. Again, I highly recommend that book for anyone that hasn't read it. And there's a very simple heuristic in it. It is basically take your paycheck, whether it's weekly, whether it's bi-weekly, whether it's monthly, whatever you do, take 10% of that income, save it, put it aside, never touch it. Think of it as your retirement, and then live within the rest of that 90% of your paycheck. Live within your means, live below your means maybe, and stop trying to keep up with the Joneses out there. You do not need the status symbols of, the fiat world. Save for future you, and your grandchildren, your progeny will thank you, and they will basically thank grandpa and grandma for being an absolute legend.
But only
if saving in Bitcoin.
But only if you properly secure your backup wallet seed
only
phrase.
If you back up your seed phrase. Guys, protect yourself.
Check out Stamp Seed, promo code Simply.
Do not get caught up in the classic, the cliche quote at this point: all that glitters is not gold. Well, hard work, building something is not flashy. It's not pretty. It's going to take time. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take perseverance. Life will test you. The universe will test you. How much do you want this? So be smart. Make sure you're saving for the long run. Make sure you have a little bit packed away in your little treasure chests. And don't get caught up in the new fandangled trend and something else and start chasing fiat gains, guys. It's the only thing that matters. It's the amount of sats under your control. Anyways, I don't mean to shit on a kid. He's young. He still has a lot of experience. He's got his dad in his ear. That can't be that good, especially when he's a Bitcoin skeptic.
I feel like that was his dad.
Dude, I've been saying, Nico, I've been saying this for a minute. They've been, what do you call it? Theater art. This whole relationship on Twitter for the last year was just engagement hacks, in my opinion. It was art. It was a dramatic theater art. All life is a stage, and you guys got caught up in it. So look, I don't really wanted to talk about sponsorship, but I think it was a good example of save for the future. It's not fucking pretty. I worked my ass off and saved, literally digging ditches. so that I can build a nest egg, so that I can go out on my own and build something with Nico over here at Simply Bitcoin. And it's the best decision I ever made. Is it pretty? Is it glamorous all the time? Not really, man. You know, it's still work. It's still discipline. It's still dedication. I still have to delay gratification, but in my opinion, purpose is the most important thing in my life. And what you guys should all do as well is find purpose in your life. And that means something different to everyone else. But you know, ushering in the Bitcoin standard, ushering in a more fair, equitable money. I don't see what's more purposeful than giving the world the best money, the fairest money, a money that doesn't rob them. Like, it doesn't get better than that, in my opinion. Anyways, I've ranted too much, Nico. What's good?
No, I mean, dude, get on your soapbox and preach, brother. Preach. I kind of wanted to address this. Which is this idea that Spencer basically said that he felt better not having to worry about saving money, and somehow going into college is gonna fix everything.
College is a scam. Don't do it.
No. I'm not going to say that.
I'm trolling, kind of.
That's what I did. I dropped out, and it's one of the best decisions I ever made.
I went to college.
But, you know, that's up to you. What I guess what I'm trying to say is like this idea that somehow college, you're going to take 4 years off and you're just going to focus on your studies, and that somehow gives you the ability to just opt out about not caring about money and whatnot. You're just delaying the pain. That's all that you're doing. Like, it's not easy. This is my 7th year going into my 8th year in the industry. And I'll tell you what, for the first 2 or 3 years, I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. And I made a ton of mistakes. But I needed those experiences in order to kind of build a foundation to get me where I'm at today. And same thing applies to Opti. I saw the proof of work that he was putting into Bitcoin Kindergarten, and I approached him and I said, dude, like, I need you, bro. Like, what you're doing is fucking awesome. So it's like, but I'm sure there's many days where Opti was questioning what he was doing. In the early days of Simply Bitcoin, there was many days that I was questioning what I was doing. And that's just normal. That's just like part of the thing of life that everyone kind of has to go through. So like this whole fucking concept that it's like, I'm in college, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to go into debt, and then somehow that is going to fix my financial situation. Like you're just kicking that can down the road so you figure it out later. You're going to have to go through that stress. Like you're going to have to go through that anxiety. Like I went through, I think it was like 4 years of like ultra anxiety where like everything that I would do, wake up in the morning and just was like, all I would think about is like, wait a second, how do I stack more Bitcoin? You know, ethically, the right way. How do I make more money to stack more Bitcoin? Right. So it's like, dude, like, yeah. And what, you're a young guy, you're just starting your life. That is literally the perfect time to do that. You don't want to be doing that when you're in your 50s. Like just figuring out how to get your financial situation in order. Like the younger you start that, the more beneficial it's going to be. I wish I started at 18 or 15 or 16, like some of these young guys. I started at 24, which is fine. It's still relatively young, but I was a late bloomer in that sense. I wish I started younger. So terrible advice. I think that's going to age like milk, and he's going to have fun staying poor. Like the only thing that's playing to his advantage is he has a lot of time because he's a young guy. So he has a lot of time to kind of figure it out later. But hey, man, look, the earlier you figure it out, the better, in my opinion, right? Anyways, everybody, no more delay. Let's jump straight into the meme review. We got a lot of memes to review. Let's check it out.
The Daily Meme Review.
Brought to you by Kaboom Racks. I get this question all the time. Nico, where should I buy Bitcoin miners? The answer is Kaboom Racks. It's the best place to buy Bitcoin miners. That's where you're going to find the best deals and the best prices. Start your mining utopia today. To check out their racks, you got to go to t.me/Kaboom Racks. Join their Telegram group and start your mining journey today. Kaboom Racks.
Kaboom Racks.
Oh, sorry, I didn't pull up. I was laughing with everyone in the in the chat. But anyways, before I do the meme thing that I always do, everyone's applauding Saint Opti over here. One of the main things that I try to do here is, like, I wish I had someone like me telling me this stuff, like what Nico just said, what I just said, 10 years ago, because like, whether I would have listened or not is probably besides the point, but just having someone tell you the stuff that we know now, it's so simple. The process is so simple. Stack sats, stay humble, stay solvent, provide value, and save in Bitcoin. Build your skills up so that you can get your cash flow to increase. This is the way, guys. Put on your horse blinders and just provide that value, build businesses, and save in Bitcoin. Or, take your fiat job and then on the side, put whatever you can in Bitcoin and live your life. Anyways, I'm not just saying this just to say it. I've done it for myself, and now we're leveling up. Anyways, I'll get on my soapbox. This first meme. All right, wait. Tweets of the bullets, memes of artillery. We are in an information warfare. You already know the deal. They want you. Wait, what did they say? They want you to be happy and own nothing. They want you deaf, dumb, and blind. So what are we going to do? We're going to save in Bitcoin and be as happy as we can be. We're going to find that Bitcoin Zen and usher in a better world. This is the way. Anyways, this first meme is actually, I took this one from our Telegram group, and he hit me up in Orange Pill app. So shouts out to you, Green Bull 92, tagged us in our Telegram group, and we got Thanos here. And I forget which guy this one is, but he says, just taste it. And he goes, no, I don't like sats. And then he gives him a spoonful of sats. And then it turns into Shaq's face with the, ooh, because sats are so delicious. Yum, yum. I love Bitcoin. Yum, yum. Gang, gang. Okay.
If you guys want Opti to do a vertical video of just that, or myself, please let us know down in the comments.
Love Bitcoin.
We will do it. We will do it for the views. We will do it for the culture. We will do it for the culture and the what are those things? The cosplays.
No, don't tell them to do that.
I will pay Opti to do that. I will pay Opti to do that.
Oh my goodness.
With the corn. I'm spicy. Ooh, workout. Ooh.
Spicy. All right. This next meme is by Thomas Farrer, and he goes, still so early, but Bitcoin has come so far. And we got the Bitcoin logo here and Bitcoin settlement volume of $14.8 trillion and Visa's payment volume, which is $14.1 trillion. It's a little disingenuous, but I like it. It's a good meme. Anyways, this next meme is by Toxic Bitcoiner. It goes, in a time of universal defeat, telling the truth is a revolutionary act. And we have someone here on their therapist bench, and it goes, I just think people should be able to save in money instead of securities and houses. And the therapist is an FBI agent, and he writes down domestic terrorists. It's fucking insane. Sorry, I know I'm getting trolled now because I'm cussing here, but sometimes you have to drop an F-bomb to make your point be heard. It is absolutely insane, the world we are living in. All we want is a money that doesn't rob from us. And we are getting deplatformed and put on lists. It's ridiculous. Anyways, this next meme is by RD_BTC, and he's got crazy eyes, and it goes #Bitcoin. And then there's someone sleeping here, and it goes, me every night. And it's just a brain saturated in orange and sparkles. And it says, I need more Bitcoin. Yes, this is the way. Okay, this next meme is by our boy, the BTC therapist. And he goes, BlackRock is bullish on Bitcoin. And we got to play on the Drake meme. But we got Larry Fink's head on here, and it says BlackRock. And it goes, nah, not 1% Bitcoin allocation, but 84.9% Bitcoin allocation. I think we talked about this on the spaces, but there was a BlackRock research paper that dropped, and they basically admitted that an 85% Bitcoin allocation is the perfect allocation for your portfolio.
We should cover that tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll actually we will, because We're definitely going to do that tomorrow, Nico. I got you. Okay, this next one is by Princey, Daniel Prince. And actually, it's kind of a two-part. He just quote tweeted and said Bitcoin enables this. So the first meme is by homeschool_LLC, and it goes, the peak masculine energy, the drive to make enough money so your wife is free to be home, raise and homeschool your children. And we got a throwback view here of simpler times, sitting on the porch with a wife, a father, and some kids. And Princey just quote tweets and goes, Bitcoin enables this. Guys, if you feel like you are stuck in the rat race, like you're never going to get that white picket dream, like you might not even ever get a girlfriend because you're broke and you're stuck in the fiat rat race and you're living paycheck to paycheck, sacrifice a little bit now, save in Bitcoin, and I'm telling you, in the future, you will have children and grandchildren that will think of, man, he was a legend for stacking Bitcoin in the 2023, 2024, and 2025 bull market. And this next one, shouts to the Denver Bitcoin. He goes, the Bitcoin and self-sovereign individualism worldview. And we got a yin and yang, a play on the yin and yang. And it goes, a small little white sliver, and it goes, creating a better world. This is, hey, as much as we want to fix the world and provide a better world, most of us just want to say, go fuck yourself. I want to stack Bitcoin. Leave me alone. Stop getting into my business. Stop stealing all my money because you don't like what I'm saying. This is what Bitcoin allows. Censorship resistant money, deplatforming resistant money, a money that can't be debased, 21 million hard cap, all that good stuff. Okay, drop your meme review score in the chat over there, and we'll cover it live. Okay, this meme is you're gonna like this one, Nico. I literally forgot stuff. I didn't bring a score, but I did have a sock on the floor, so a dirty sock for the meme review score.
Okay. Interesting. All right, I'm gonna give it a question that was asked yesterday by OptiFields, eBoy, Ice Cream, Yum Yum, Lick Lick, Simply Bitcoin. What if the stamp seed bends and the crease blurs on the letters? That is a really, really good point, and I got your answer for you, brother. So first of all, it is fucking titanium, and this one's the one that they put stress tested. They literally bent the shit out of this and they put a flamethrower on it. It will bend with force, but likely not fold over itself into layers in a way that will cover the letters. If it does, you can bend the plate back to see the covered letter if necessary. They've done this before with a pair of vice pliers. If other letters in the words are still visible, you could figure it out, and you can bend the plate back to see the covered letter. So, I mean, like, dude, I don't know about you, bro, but like, this is like a Godzilla stepping on your stamp seed. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. And if you guys have any questions about any of our partners that we promote, please drop them in the group chat and we'll be happy to get those answers for you. So yeah. Properly secure your generational wealth. Scan the QR code on your screen right now. Take you to the Stamp Seed website. Titanium seed phrase storage kit. Strongest metal on planet Earth, I think. No, it's not, but it's one of the strongest.
Yeah, this first score, Nico. It's absolutely hilarious.
This is my score. I'm gonna keep. We gotta spice it up.
That was
every
a good
day.
score. Your score was good. I'm talking about the first score over here in the meme review score.
Okay. When you eBoy, Ice Cream, Yum Yum, Lick Lick. When you dump Chrissy, do you know they make like thousands of dollars? Those egos.
Dude, they make like $7K per stream, apparently, allegedly.
We picked the wrong field, bro. How do we do that for Bitcoin?
Stack Sats, Bitcoin, Yum Yum, gang gang.
Oh man. All right, when you dump Chrissy,
someone make this in Lightning version so we can NPC ourselves.
When you dump Chrissy as your sugar gilf, and then end up getting paid to be an ethot NPC. Very, very, very nice. Opti, I got time for three more. Rave Elevator, I score the memes. Some blue laundry soap for Opti's sock.
Yes.
All right, Elaine, as more people get kicked out of banks, millions of Bitcoiners are born. We got one more Opti. We could do one more. Planet Earth, score these memes, one stock to flow maxi, and proud of it. Deal with it. Oh, okay. All right, bro. I respect it. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for joining us on Simply Bitcoin Live. If you enjoyed the show, you know what to do. Smash that like button. Consider subscribing if you feel like we provided you value. But the number one thing you could do to help push the peaceful revolution is share Bitcoin content. Just get it out there. Share it. Don't share shitcoin content. That's counterproductive. If you want to join the after party, we're holding it down until 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time with our friends over at Swan Bitcoin. Best place to build your Bitcoin stack. And shout out to the best producer in the game, producer Jacob. So definitely join us over there. But until then, we'll be back tomorrow. Opti is going to be hosting it tomorrow. I'm going to be at Mining Disrupt. I'm going to be on a panel in the morning, so that should be a lot of fun. I'll be back for the Friday show. Guys, I love you all. This show would not be possible without all your support, so we appreciate all the likes, all the views, all the comments. From my heart to yours, thank you. We love you, and we'll be back tomorrow for another episode of Simply Bitcoin Live. Peace out, y'all.